We're going to talk about some learning styles, and this is simplified down to visual, auditory and kinesthetic. And you can scan your students in a face-to-face setting and very quickly start to pick up their dominant learning styles. See over here, the blue writing here, the visual learners, when they're processing information and recalling information, especially like if you've just asked them a question, their eyes will dart straight up. Okay, so a visual learner, their eyes will head straight up. An auditory learner will look just fair square at you and be able to answer your question. They've been able to process that question that you verbally asked them. Now, the kinesthetic learner, their eyes will tend to drift down before they answer a question, and this used to throw me quite a lot as a teacher because I would think that that student was just shy. I'd just read that facial expression as a shyness type of thing, an introversion. But that is how a kinesthetic learner is processing the information. So a great activity to do with a kinesthetic learner is to get them to use their body to help them learn. So I mentioned once that heads and shoulders game. They can stand up, close their eyes. I guess that gets rid of the whole IQ thing. They shut their eyes, you say hands on your head for true, hands on your shoulders for false, and they'll be able to respond nice and quickly. And it's a great way visually for you to get a great snapshot of checking for understanding. So let's move down a little here and have a look at some of the activities. So visual learners, they'll use verbal cues as well. They'll say, oh, I see that. An auditory learner will say, oh, that sounds right. And a kinesthetic learner will say, oh, it feels right to me. It really just feels right. So they're just some of the verbal cues that you can get. Now, what you want to know as a trainer is some of the activities that you can use to tap into these styles of learners. So obviously visual, and we all have an element of visual learning, even if it isn't our dominant style. That's where the PowerPoints these days are so fantastic. The PowerPoints, coupled with your lecture, combines that visual and auditory perfectly to appeal to visual and auditory learners. So diagrams, charts, pictures. Now, throwing the whiteboard marker very safely, mind you, toward a kinesthetic learner, they catch it, they physically get up out of their seat and they come up to your whiteboard or butcher's paper or whatever you've got there as a resource, and having them create the image or the information themselves. That's how it's going to help a kinesthetic learner to learn. Or scrunching up a piece of paper and throwing it at kinesthetic learners is like a hot potato. So the students that you're seeing where their eyes are going down, they're the ones to reach kinesthetically. Get them up, get them moving, throw things safely at them. Scrunch up pieces of paper really aren't going to do any damage. Maybe write down the question, scrunch it up and throw it at them so they have to touch it and physically unwrap it before they answer it. Auditory learners, if you can share with them an anecdote or puns, jokes, stories, they're processing that, they're hearing what you're saying, and that is tapping into their learning styles. So look, there's just a couple of basic ideas, but you appreciate that everybody takes in information differently, and you just always offer a lovely range of activities that can appeal at least to those three main learning styles.